Hey YouTube, what is up? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me, then that totally sucks, and we'll find out once I upload this video. So, today is 9/11. That right there is basically what everybody should do at some point today. A moment of silence. Uh, just think about everything. I don't know. What happened in 2001 and it's 2012, and it's totally still on everybody's mind, and clearly it's on everybody's mind because PBS, they released a documentary on 9/11 basically being manipulated, that something was wrong, that they destroyed evidence, that there was bombs that went off inside the buildings. Why did Building 7 fall? And it was one of PBS's most downloaded and viewed video for like 2 weeks or something. So I mean, people are totally still very interested in what's going on, and I myself personally believe that that something is wrong with it. I know we're talking about this. I know it's probably really stressful to talk about it and annoying. It's probably not something you want to hear. It's probably not something you want to even talk about. It's something that you want to completely, basically forget. But we can't forget it because something is wrong. Something is totally wrong. It is not 100% like everybody's making it out to be. Like, something is definitely very, very wrong. And you can clearly see it when you really start to look at the evidence of why did this happen? Why did this happen? Are the deaths real? Yes, the death is real, and that's why we should care. That's why we should care enough about it to really want to figure it out, because people really did die. People really did die so that people could erase their debt and everything. And if you know anything about Building 7, randomly fell, really for no reason. The Twin Towers fell, and then really close by there's a building that had a lot of documentation on some of the wealthiest people in the world, and it just randomly fell from a fire inside. There is no documented buildings, documented skyscrapers in history that have ever fallen due to fire. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. And they've done actual research on this. They've lit buildings on fire and let them burn for 18 hours straight, and they still haven't fallen. I mean, they might have melted down and sagged a little bit, but they have not fallen. And that's the whole thing, is they're saying that it fell due to fire. And there's so much evidence. There's so much evidence that shows it buckling, like it was demolition, like it has the demolition buckle. And it's just, I don't know. Other people don't know. All we're looking at is evidence and material and researching that, and it's all pointing to they are lying about something. Something is a cover-up, and we don't really know what it is, but we know that something is wrong, and we're interested enough to care to figure it out. Because like I said, the death that went with it is real. Don't you want to know why the people died? If it really was a terrorist attack, do you really want to know? And I feel like that is what it comes down to, is a lot of people really don't want to know. A lot of people really don't care enough, and they don't want to know because it's so out there. It's so crazy. And a lot of people's excuse is bullshit. Sorry, but the excuse of yeah, well, if they were doing this, you think they would have let it leak so easy? Yeah, because you're stupid. That's why. I mean, no offense, but yes, offense. it's so out there and so extremist that nobody believes it, because they're like, my country would never do that to me. They love me. They've never, ever, ever lied to me before. Well, that's your first mistake. And so it's disheartening because people don't believe it because it's so extreme. But sometimes the world is extreme and you have to realize it. This is why civil wars have happened. This is why world wars have happened. Sometimes shit just hits the fan and you have to man up and deal with it. And I feel like we really need to figure out what is going on. It's a really sad day. It's a really sad day. And there's just a lot of stuff that happened today, and I'm sure everybody wants to just remember the loved ones that they lost today, and they don't want to think about this internal battle that is happening. But ultimately you should, because if you're doing nothing about it, then those people died in vain, basically. They're not here anymore because someone took their life, and we're trying to figure out who took their life. Was it really a terrorist, or was it some rich, filthy bastard in America that just wanted a cover-up? Do you care enough to really figure it out? Look how much the world has changed. The Patriot Act was put into full motion after 9/11. That takes all our freedom away. It really does. It says the president can really do whatever he wants to us as long as he says that person's a terrorist. Did you know a 16-year-old kid was killed because of it? It's not a conspiracy. It's an actual fact. You can look it up and do research. Am I going to give you this material? I don't know. I probably should give you this material because a lot of people won't actually go out and look for themselves, you know? And that's what sucks, is I feel like sometimes with the things I talk about, I have to hold people's hand and say, hey, you should read this. And some people's responses is like, well, you can't believe everything you read. How am I supposed to trust you? I don't know what to tell you then. I really don't. I'm hoping you have faith in what I'm trying to tell you. I'm hoping that you realize that I care enough, that it bothers me, that I'm trying to tell you this because you need to know it. It's something that is important, and that you should, I guess, trust me enough. It's such a strong word. I don't like really giving my trust to other people, and so it's hard for me to ask other people to trust me. But I just feel like people should care enough to really research, because what happened was very real, and let's figure out who did it and why, and if what everybody is telling us is the truth, because there's a lot of material and evidence saying that it isn't. It isn't. It's a giant cover-up, that evidence was destroyed, and that something is very, very, very wrong. And we're not doing anything about it. We're using Al-Qaeda and all these other places as a scapegoat. We're just like, they did it, it's them, let's go fuck them up. When in reality, it could have been us. It could have literally been us who did it. And we're just very manipulated right now, and it's very sad. I really wish we could do something about it, because a lot of people died, and a lot of people shouldn't have died. And I mean, don't you feel like something's wrong when the terrorists who crashed into the Twin Towers were trained by the United States? Think about it. Like, they went to fucking, God, I just can't, I don't know. Well, to be a pilot now, you have to get through, what is it, Homeland Defense. I know I can't think of the whole word for it. National Homeland Defense, blah blah blah. Basically, it's now connected, and you have to go through a lot of shit to be a pilot. And I don't know. Things are just really fucked up, and it's sad. So I guess today, take a moment of silence and really think about what you believe, and think about the people who were lost. and then do something about it. Actually go research it and figure out what's going on, and tell other people, tell your friends, tell your family, hey, I read this today and it said this and it was really interesting and I felt like it made sense. Maybe we should look at this, because if nobody's talking about it, then nobody's hearing it. So I don't know. This is a 10-minute video, but I guess on a side note, I'm thinking about doing a podcast. I guess the podcast would be very similar to this, but just without my face. I don't know how people feel about that, but basically just audio of me talking about certain topics. And yeah, how do you guys feel about that? Hopefully this video didn't annoy you. Like I said, I'm sure so many people are tired of hearing this whole conspiracy theory, but in reality I truly really feel like it's not a conspiracy theory, that something is very wrong and we're just too blind and ignorant to really see it. Ignorant is not saying that you're stupid. Ignorant is just saying you are void of knowledge, which means you don't know any better. If you're ignorant, you just don't have the material to research and really look at it. It's like, hey, I'm sorry you're ignorant, but here's some knowledge. Now you can choose to be not ignorant. So, okay. Well, this is a very long video, so hopefully it makes you, I don't know, get out there and figure out what's going on in the world, you know? I guess the way I look at it from my perspective is, when I'm older and it's difficult for me to make my own choices, would I want a person like me making choices for me? And, you know, like a person like me, would I want them to care? Would I want them to be fighting the battles? You know, when I'm old enough that I don't really care who the president is, I'm just like, I need to survive, and this is it. And, you know, I don't really care about that stuff. Would I want a person like me fighting that battle for me? And the truth of the reality is there's a lot of you guys that I would not want to fight that battle for me. And I'm sorry to say that, but, you know, if that was the whole thing, like the reality is, like, when I'm older, and my future is in some of these people's hands, they're not really going to care. They're just not really going to care. They're just going to, like, be pushovers and not really search for truth and knowledge. And they're just going to believe whatever, you know, big daddy government tells them to believe, which, you know, is okay, I guess. But in reality, you know, it really sucks, because we're not always told the truth, and a lot of things are lies, and a lot of things are not in our best interest. And so that's why I do a lot of the things I do, is because I think like that. I think like, hey, like, you know, there's people in this world that aren't fighting these battles because they don't know, like, and I'm going to, like, try to make my voice heard for these people, for myself, for you, so that hopefully we can make a real difference in the world and get some truth. So, well, I hope everybody's having a good day. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.